Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for being here with us this evening, and thank you at home for watching this meeting of the Town Board of the Town of Carmel. Today's date is Wednesday, October 4th, 2017, and tonight's Town Board meeting is a voting meeting. So before we get started, we're going to have the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. So would everybody please rise, and Councilman Schneider is going to lead us this evening.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And if you please remain standing for a moment of silence, and in light of the recent events that took place with the massacre over in Las Vegas, please just keep your thoughts and prayers in with the families, the victims, survivors, first responders, anyone who's involved there.
Thank you. Okay. Thanks, Jonathan.
A little more time going on to your station.
All right. We also mourn the loss of a local part-time Mahopac resident. He was an actor. He actually starred in a movie with I think Goodfellas. He starred in Goodfellas. Chuck Lowe. He passed away a couple of days ago. I think he played Maury in Goodfellas. So I knew him personally. I met him on the lake. Yeah, he was on the lake. Yeah, he lived on the house on Westlake Boulevard.
I met him at one of your events once. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, you met him. You met Chuck Lowe. Yeah, good guy. And he's 89 years old, I believe. 89 years old. Loved the town, supported the community, and our thoughts and prayers are with Chuck Lowe's family this evening. Okay, so tonight's Town Board meeting, as I said, is a Town Board voting meeting. The date's Wednesday, October 4th, but we're also going to be, I'm going to be presenting my supervisor's tentative budget for fiscal year 2018 this evening as well. So I just want to mention that all members of the board are present with the exception of Councilman Lombardi, who is at a work-related function this evening. A close friend of his is being sworn in as the president of the Bar Association down in the Bronx this evening, and Frank's firm actually sponsored or co-sponsored the event, so he had to be there. It's a work-related event, and otherwise he said he would have been with us this evening, but that's work-related, so he had to be there. So as I stated, and also Greg Fulchetti, our town council, is with us all the way down to my left, and Ann Spofford, our town clerk, is with us this evening as well, and Mary Ann is here, our town controller. She's going to be presenting the PowerPoint, if we get it working this evening, to you with regards to outlining the budget for 2018. So at this time, I'm going to ask the town clerk, Ann Spofford, to pass out to the town board the 2018 tentative budget.
We need like music when this happens. Thank you.
Yeah. The green? Oh, yeah. Yeah, you like the green?
Oh, yeah.
Mary Ann?
I like the green,
Yeah.
huh? Yeah. That was Michelle Russell picked that out.
Oh, okay, nice, good choice, nice color. So,
Was it within budget?
Of course.
Color of money. That's what she
Yeah.
said.
so the first thing that I'm going to do before we go ahead and Mary Ann presents the budget on the PowerPoint is I'm going to read the supervisor's fiscal 2018 tentative budget message. So before I begin reading, we were able to, myself, Mary Ann, the town board, the financial expertise that I have on the town board with me, to my right and to my left, Jonathan Schneider and John Lupinacci, because I did meet with the board in executive session to discuss certain aspects of the budget with respect to personnel items. And we were able to accomplish something that I haven't been able to do in the past 9 years, because the first budget when I took office in 2008 wasn't my budget. It was my predecessor's budget, Connie Monday's. But the subsequent budgets were mine. And as you know, in 2008, the financial markets collapsed, the housing market tanked, and we were in the midst of a very, very difficult economic recession. So we had some really, really tough budget years. And there were some increases that I necessarily weren't happy with, and I know the board wasn't either, that tax rate increases during that period of time, and there were very difficult budget decisions that we had to make. Some weren't very popular, but we had to do it for fiscal reasons. So I'm going to read the budget, and you'll hear later on in my budget message why I'm pleased to report tonight we accomplished something that we haven't been able to. All right, so here's my budget message, so just bear with me. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, members of the town board, residents and property owners of the town of Carmel. One of the most important duties of the town supervisor is to initiate and coordinate the annual budget process. And tonight, I am presenting the tentative fiscal 2018 budget to the town clerk, town board members, and to the public. First, a note about the process. The tentative budget is based on months of preparation and collaboration between myself, the town comptroller, Mary Ann Maxwell, the town managers of various town departments, as well as other elected officials. I wish to thank everyone for the care and consideration they took in preparation of their budget request for 2018. The town comptroller and I worked for many days and hours examining every single line item in the budget. Expenses and revenues were reviewed and carefully considered while formulating the tentative budget. In 2011, the New York State established a property tax levy limit for all government municipalities known as the 2% tax cap. The tax cap law sets a limit on the annual growth of property taxes levied by local governments to 2% or the rate of inflation, whichever is less. In 2018, the rate of inflation increased to 1.84%. The town's fiscal year 2018 tax levy increase cannot exceed 1.84%. I am pleased to report to you this evening that my tentative fiscal year 2018 budget achieves this mandate and will stay under the New York State tax cap. The tentative fiscal year 2018 budget is still subject to review and amendments made by the Carmel Town Board. Changes to the tentative budget may be made by the town board, and a preliminary budget will be adopted on October 18th of 2017. A public hearing will be held on November 8th of 2017. So we have to adopt the preliminary budget by October 18th, and a public hearing will be held on November 8th. A final townwide and fiscal year 2018 budget must be voted on and adopted on or before November 20th, 2017. It's important to note, on September 20th of this year, the town of Carmel was reviewed by Moody's Investor Service. I'm pleased to report that Moody's has affirmed the town's AA1 bond rating. The review analyst noted that Carmel is very well managed and finances are strong, which is expected of a AA1 category.
Only town in Putnam County.
Yeah, the only town in Putnam County that has a AA1 bond rating. I don't believe Putnam County government itself has a AA1. AA2? They have a AA2. So we're pleased to report that we have a AA1 bond rating, which is excellent because it determines when we borrow money for capital projects what the interest rate would be on the borrowing of those funds. So we have a great rating, and the interest rate is very low when we do capital borrowing because of that. So the townwide tax increase for 2018, this is the good part. The 2018 fiscal tentative budget reflects a 0% increase in the townwide tax rate. The 2017 adopted budget reflected a 1.6% increase in the townwide tax rate. Our town comptroller, Mary Ann Maxwell, will now present to you the fiscal year 2018 Town of Carmel Supervisor's tentative budget. This presentation will provide for you an in-depth review of the town's finances, identifying projected expenditures and revenues for fiscal year 2018. In closing, my sincere thanks to Town Comptroller Mary Ann Maxwell. Thank you so much, Mary Ann. My office staff, Ann Pescarello, Ann's over here to my right. Bella Simadomo, they're an excellent office staff that I work with day in and day out, along with other elected officials, department heads, and managers for the diligence and assistance during the preparation of my tentative fiscal year 2018 budget. Respectfully submitted this 4th day of October 2017, Kenneth Schmidt, Supervisor of Town of Carmel. So, so that's really good news that we're able to achieve a 0% tax rate. But Mary Ann really deserves a lot of credit, probably a lot more than I give her, because She's our excellent controller, and she's worked very hard on this budget. The whole month of September pretty much is dedicated to this. You know, her and I meet quite frequently, but really, the nuts and bolts of it, the numbers, the figures are all Mary Ann and my colleagues on the town board as well. So I want to thank them as well for their input in this budget process as well. So, okay, Mary Ann, you want to, are you all set to take us through the PowerPoint?
Yeah, I think I am all set. I just wanted to, before we go into the PowerPoint, if I could just go over the binders with you so that you
Sure.
know what's in here.
Yeah?
Michelle Russell put these together. She does a great job with this every year, and she picked out the nice green color. The first tab is the table of contents. Then the second tab is the townwide budget. And in this tab, you'll have an attachment A, which goes over all of the government funds in the net operating budget, townwide and special districts. So our total net operating budget for 2018 is $44.2 million. Attachment B is a summary of all townwide funds. This goes over the expenditures and the revenues in the general and highway funds. It also has a tax rate increase history from 2003 to 2017. And those were when the assessed value before we had the reassessment. So if you notice at the bottom of page of attachment B, you'll see at 100% equalized assessed value, you'll see the difference where it goes from $2.6 billion in 2017 to an equalized 100% assessed value at 4.4 in 2017. And then the 2018 equalized 100% equalized assessed value is the 4.6. So I'm going to go over that in the slideshow. So I just want you to, be able to understand where that comes from. And then attachment C is an expense budget by expenditure classification. So this breaks out your compensation of all staff in the townwide, general and highway. It has your equipment broken out, it has your contractual expenses broken out, and then it has your employee benefits and debt service. So those are all broken out, so you can see those. Attachment D is a summary of all of your revenues and expenditures. If you look at page 3 of attachment D, it has all of the departments, and it says the original budget in 2017, the adjusted budget in 2017, and then it has your tentative budget in 2018. So you'll see the increases, the variances from 17 to 18. And then after attachment D, you'll have the detail of all the townwide budget, general and highway. Okay, and that is 24 pages long. Then you have a tab that goes into your special districts budget. So this is all of your ambulance, fire districts, town park districts, library district, which is not a town governmented district, but it is included in here because we do have to levy it. The garbage districts, the water, sewer, and lighting districts. Then the next tab goes into the tax cap calculation and shows that we are under the cap, that we've stayed under the cap, and I'll go over that again in the PowerPoint. And then the next tab has the staff compensation by department. So it breaks out all of the staff in each of the departments, okay, for your reference. And then the other tabs after that are just the budgets that were requested by the various departments. Okay?
All right, Mary Ann,
Yes.
thank you. It's important to note, and you mentioned it at the beginning, so the general and highway, net townwide operating budget for general and highway is $28,382,639. Am I correct there?
That's correct. That's including the debt funds.
That's including the debt funds.
Yes,
So
yes.
so special districts, and this is important, the net special district budgets is $15,873,379.
Correct.
So that's a total of $44,256,018
Yes.
combined.
Correct.
So I just wanted to make sure, and it was clear that the town general and highways 28 million, and the special districts is 15 million.
Right.
So we have a lot of special districts in the town. We have 13 water districts, 8 sewer districts, lighting districts, fire district,
Park districts.
park districts. So that's really what is the cost. The 15 million is the cost for all of that.
Correct, the operating,
General and highway is the 28 million. So combined, it's 44 million.
exactly.
Thanks.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right, so is this lighting okay for you to go through that, Marion? Can
Maybe we
everybody
can turn
see
it,
that?
you want to turn it lower, or?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe we can turn it a little bit lower. This way the camera. Good, is everybody okay with it like that?
Is that good? Maybe it's a little too dark.
All right, Ann, just ask the videographer. Ask the videographer. Yeah, that's good.
There we go.
That's fine. You're okay with the lighting? All right, good. Thank you. Okay, Mary Ann, sorry.
Okay, that's okay. Okay, so it's the Town of Carmel 2018 tentative budget. As Supervisor Schmidt mentioned earlier, in 2011, the New York State Office of State Controller established a 2% real property tax cap law. With some exceptions, this law limits the amount of local governments and school districts can increase their property taxes by the lesser of 2% or the rate of inflation. For the 2018 budget, the allowable tax levy growth imposed by the New York State Comptroller's Office is 1.84%, which is the current rate of inflation. For the town of Carmel, townwide and special districts, this equates to a maximum allowable tax levy increase of $735,000. This is a slideshow that shows the, this is a graph that shows the 2% property tax cap since it was established. In 2012 and 13, it was 2%. 2014 and 15 is 1.66 and 1.56. Then in 2016 and 17, it dropped to 0.73% and 0.68. And in 2018, it's the 1.84%. So we did have a little bit more to work with this year to stay within that property tax cap. Due to a retired capital debt in 2015, the town of Carmel also had an available carryover from 2017 to 18 of $519,630. Therefore, the total maximum allowable 2018 tax levy increase, townwide and special districts, including the carryover, was $1,255,513. And that's just adding those two together. In the 2010 tentative budget, there is an overall tax levy increase from the 2017 adopted levy. The 2018 tentative levy increase is $927,941. So the tentative 2018 budget is under the tax cap by $327,572. So due to good financial planning and an available carryover from a retired debt, the town of Carmel is able to stay under the tax cap in the 2018 tentative budget. The tax levy. The property tax levy is calculated by taking the town's total annual expenditures less any revenues and/or appropriated fund balance. The annual tax rate is determined by dividing the total amount of property tax levy by the total assessed value of a town or special district. The townwide 100% equalized assessed value after our reassessment project used for the tentative 2018 budget is $4,657 million, an increase of approximately $182.6 million from the prior year's equalized assessed value. An increase in the assessed value will result in a decrease in the tax rate if the levy were to remain the same. So the 2018 tentative budget, townwide general and highway, the expenditures are $28.5 million. The revenues in the 2018 budget, you subtract the revenues, that's $5.587 million. So your property tax levy for the 2018 budget is $22.9 million. The tax rate, to calculate the tax rate, you take your tax levy of $22.9 million, divide it by your assessed value, and you get a tax rate of 4.93. As Supervisor Schmidt mentioned earlier, this is a 0% tax rate increase from the prior year if you look at the 100% equalized assessed value. the rate calculated using that. This is a slideshow that shows the tax rate increase over a 10-year history. You can see in years 2012 and 13, the tax rate increase was very high at 8.8%, 7.9%. The 2011, the tax rate increase was 3.9%. And the only reason it was that low is we used approximately $800,000 of our fund balance that year to keep the tax rate low. Otherwise, it would have been up here, right around, 7 or 8%. Right after we did that, that's when Moody's did downgrade, not downgrade us, they gave us a negative outlook because of using the fund balance in years to balance the budget. So you can see in 2015, 16, 17, and 18, the tax rate increase has gone down, and the 2018 tentative budget is a 0% tax rate increase. The average homeowner assessed at $347,000, and this is at the 100% equalization rate, would pay approximately $1,711 per year, which is a $0 increase from the prior year. Of the $28.5 million in townwide expenditures, approximately $20.5 million is budgeted in the 2018 budget for employee compensation and benefit costs. This represents a percentage of approximately 71.9% of the total expenditures. This is a slide, a pie graph that shows breaks out those percentages. Employee expenses include annual salary, overtime, other compensation costs, pension, health benefit costs, workers' compensation costs, and FICA, Medicare, and MTA tax. So that's 71.9% of our general and highway budgets. As Supervisor Schmidt mentioned earlier, last month, Moody's did confirm the town's AA1 bond rating. AA1 is only one notch away from a AAA. As a AA1 bond rating, Carmel, this is what Moody's said in the report, Carmel is very well managed and finances are strong. Factors that could lead to an upgrade: significant and sustained growth in reserve levels, substantial improvement in the tax base and wealth and income levels. Factors that could lead to a downgrade: sizable declines in fund balances or cash reserves, or a significant increase in debt burden. Townwide fund balances deteriorated substantially from 2007 to 2011. From 2012 through 2016, townwide reserves increased to a 10-year high in 2016 at $8,577,000. This is a chart that shows the history of our townwide fund equity. As you can see, in 2007, the fund equity was over $8 million. It dropped to a low of about $3.5 million in 2011, and we've increased it substantially over the past 5 years to a high of $8.5 million. This is general and highway fund equity. So it is the highest it's been in over 10 years. Some budget drivers and highlights in the 2018 budget: health insurance cost continues to increase. It's currently budgeted at an increase of 10 to 12%. This is with employee benefit costs and retiree health insurance cost. Pension contributions decreased slightly. ERS is budgeted at 15.3%, and police and fire retirement system is budgeted at 24.3% of their salary. Workers' comp rates is estimated to decrease slightly, 3% above the 2017 actual numbers. Salaries and benefits increased due to union contract settlements. Negotiations will be beginning with the CSEA contract, which expires this year. 2 new full-time positions are funded in the 2018 budget, one in the assessor's office and one in the building department. Police overtime, the 2018 budget does reflect an increase in police overtime. The 2017 budget, I believe, was $500,000, and it's increased to $600,000 in total, so an increase of $100,000. Mortgage tax revenue for fiscal year 2017 is on budget. We're hoping that it will be a little bit above budget. 2017 budget is $900,000. August 2017 monthly revenue was $107,000. $900,000 is budgeted for the 2018 budget for mortgage tax revenue. So we're keeping that the same, hoping that does stay the same or increase. Revenues increased in the 2018 budget 6.5% from the prior year. Mortgage tax revenue, as I said, did remain the same, but employee contributions, health insurance contributions, increased in the 2018 budget by $65,000. Tax interest earned and penalties increased by $10,000, and our cable franchise fees increased by $50,000. Technology upgrades, $70,000 is budgeted for the 2018 budget for technology upgrades, and a fund is established for a future purchase of data imaging equipment. The contingent line is $200,000 is budgeted in the 2018 budget for the contingent line, and $100,000 was budgeted in 2017 budget. In the highway fund, snow materials remain the same as the prior year. $700,000 is budgeted for the 2018 snow budget for materials, and overtime $150,000 is budgeted. Also in the 2018 highway fund, $150,000 is budgeted for capital machinery in an attempt to avoid capital borrowing. Highway snow reserve fund balance as of 12/31/16 was $600,000. Due to a mild winter, January through March of 2016, we were able to add to that fund balance due to surpluses in overtime, fuel, and snow materials. The townwide reassessment project is complete, but we did budget $150,000 each year, so we did not have to borrow for that project. So that was good. The town will continue to budget for cyclical assessments in order to keep the 100% equalized assessed value. We also have a $750,000 capital reserve to use for future townwide capital projects. There's new debt service in the 2018 budget for highway drainage and resurfacing. There's also new capital debt in Water District number 9, Sewer District numbers 1, 3, and 7. Required principal and interest payments will be paid in October of 2018. Carmel Sewer District number 5 will see a special district tax increase due to a possible wastewater treatment plant upgrade. Long Pond Improvement District, taxpayers in this district will pay principal and interest in 2018 as well. I talked about this earlier. This is a slideshow, a graph that shows the continued increase in employee benefit cost, specifically with the health insurance. Retirement was up pretty high in around 2013. It has gone down 14, 15, and it has remained pretty stable in the past couple of years. And workers' comp as well is a little over $1 million. This is employee health insurance contributions. Over the past couple of years, the town board has negotiated with the unions for them to contribute towards health insurance. The 2018 budget, we have a little over $300,000 in health insurance contributions from employees. The mortgage tax revenue, as I mentioned earlier, back in 2008 was about $1,350,000. 2016, we did bring in a little over $1 million, and it's expected to be possibly a little over $900,000 2017. The townwide budgeted revenues, as I mentioned earlier, 81% of our revenues are from property taxes. 6% is state aid, 4% is intergovernment service fees and revenues. So most of our revenues are property tax revenue, are from property taxes. The townwide budgeted expenditures for fiscal year 2018, $10.3 million is public safety. This includes police, traffic control, dog control, and code enforcement. As I mentioned earlier, we did add a new position to the code enforcement, to the building department. So that is a total of $10.3 million. General government, which includes our town departments, technology, central print, that's 5.9 million. Transportation and highway is 8.3 million. Community service, which is our boards, and recycling is 0.4 million. Debt service is 1.9 million, and our recreation and culture is 1.7 million of our budget, townwide. And that's it. Any questions?
Okay, all right, okay. Okay, thanks, Mary Ann. Great job, once again.
Thank you.
Does the board have any questions for Mary Ann at this time? In regards to the 2018 tentative budget? So what's going to happen now, ladies and gentlemen, the town board now gets my tentative budget, and they begin working on it. They can make changes to it, amendments to it, as I stated in my letter. Between now and we adopt the budget before November 20th, but the preliminary budget has to be adopted by October 18th. So between now and the 18th, I expect that we're going to be meeting with the board, and perhaps they may make some changes to it if they're inclined to. If not, they can leave the budget the way it is. But I expect that there will be some minor changes or tweaks to it. I don't think there's any major changes, but there is going to be probably some changes to it, which is expected and which is done every year. So they get it now, and we begin working on it as a board collectively. So I just want to go over a timeline from now until when we adopt the budget. So tonight we presented the September 30th is the legal deadline to file the tentative budget with the town clerk, which I did. So on the 4th, we presented it to the community and the town board tonight. And then on the 5th, which is tomorrow, the town board starts review of the tentative budget. On the 11th, the town board continues review and preparation of the preliminary budget. On the 18th, the town board schedules a public hearing for the preliminary budget. On 10/18, the town board files preliminary budget with the town clerk. On 10/26, a notice of the public hearing will be published in the local newspapers. November 7th is Election Day. November 8th, Wednesday, November 8th, is the date for the public hearing on the preliminary budget. So the public hearing will be on November 8th this year. On November 9th is the legal deadline for the public hearing on the budget, so we're having it on the 8th. On November 15th will be the final review and adoption of the 2018 budget. So Wednesday, November 15th is when we're expected to adopt the budget. Because the 20th is, I think, following Monday is the 20th. Yeah, so we're meeting on Wednesday the 15th, so that's when we're expected to adopt the budget. So the public hearing on the contracts for the 2017 fiscal year, when is that going to be, Greg?
I think we talked about putting that on the 8th.
On the
There's two
8th?
local laws you were going to do on the 1st.
Yep.
And then do the public hearing on the fire and ambulance district contracts on the 8th. At the same night, you do the budget public hearing.
Okay, thanks, Greg.
Tentative, subject to the board's
Yeah.
approval.
So the public hearing on the fire department contracts and Carmel ambulance contract will be on November 8th, as well as the budget on the 8th as well. So, all right, that's the timeline that we have from now until we adopt the budget. Is there anybody here with us this evening that wants to come up and comment on the budget that we just put, my tentative budget and Mary Ann's presentation? Mike?
Just a question for Mary Ann, and she knows how and the board knows how I feel about Ms. Maxwell and her importance to this town. Mary Ann, can you just explain the carryover, $519,630? What's a carryover?
The carryover is in 2015, we had a payoff of a sewer debt in sewer district number 2. So your levy in 2015 was, say 500,000 more than what it was in 2008 or 16. So you're able to carry that over. The State Controller's Office allows you to carry over either 1.5% of your levy or the amount whichever's less, the amount that your, levy is under by, I guess you could say.
So what
So
did,
1.5% of your levy, or whatever your, like last year, I think we were under the cap by 500 and something thousand. So we were able to carry over that 500,000 to the following year.
to use this year?
Correct,
Okay.
correct.
So it's a 0% tax increase,
Correct, yes.
but what did the spending go up?
The spending went up,
Not 927.
if you look at, well, you don't have this, but attachment A, the spending in the town-wide went up 4.6%. The operating budget.
927,941?
4.6%. What's that?
I'm saying if you take what you allowed and what you said you're under the cap, is the spending up 927,000?
That's the levy. The levy is up 927 now. Now, that's the levy in town-wide and special districts, 927,000.
Thank you.
That's, right. Yeah. Is there anyone else that's here with us this evening that'd like to comment on the tentative budget and Mary Ann's presentation? Okay. All right. Great. Thank you. Board members have any comments, questions for Mary Ann at this time? No? Jonathan?
Well, while I would love to see us not have to
take from that carryover. I think it is really nice visual presentation. I think it really shows why Moody's changed the ratings, and I think this might be the first time in 6 budget presentations that I feel really comfortable at this point. So thank you for the hard work, and Mary Ann, Michelle, and the office. And
Right. Yeah, I mean, the carryover was 519, so we are using some of that carryover. We have I think it was 327,000 left of that carryover that we can use
You could use for
towards the 2019 budget,
future budgets.
as long as this,
It stays.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
good point, yep.
I mean, this 1.84% did give us a,
From the past 2 years, it was a drastic help.
exactly, it did give us a bigger cushion to work with, to stay under the tax cap, so.
Okay, all right. Anyone else? Susan, good? All right, no, thanks, Mary Ann. So this will continue now, work on the budget, and we'll have other public meetings that we're going to be discussing the budgets, the 2018 budgets at as well. So this is ongoing, and thank you all home for watching, and, Mary Ann, we appreciate your diligence with this.
Yeah.
All right, so we have to, so we're going to go on now to the regular town board voting meeting. And first item is,
Penny,
you wanna-
can I do a first item here?
Yeah.
I would like to remove from the table a resolution setting adjusted salaries for fiscal year 2017 for Town of Carmel employees not covered by collective bargaining agreements. This resolution was previously read. It was tabled. I'm removing it from table, and
I'll second that.
putting it out there as pre-filed and pre-read, pre-filed with the town clerk.
Yeah.
Make a motion to accept that
right.
resolution.
yeah, Councilman Lupinacci is removing from the table. It's a table item, a tabled agenda item with regards, because I don't know if everybody heard that, John.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I started to say it aloud. I'll say it again. I'm
a little
removing,
closer?
sure. I'm removing from table that was previously read onto records a few months ago, resolution setting adjusted salaries for fiscal year 2017. These items were budgeted for in the 2017 budget for Town of Carmel employees not covered by collective bargaining agreements. There's various employees that are considered managers and not part of collective bargaining would be a union. This resolution and the salaries were read into a record. This resolution is pre-filed with the town clerk, so I'm making a motion to remove from table.
Second it again?
seconded. Okay, so the motion's made by Councilman Lupinacci and seconded by Councilman Schneider to remove from the table a resolution that was previously tabled. So, who, you want to, you got to,
Now it's off the table.
It's off the, it's off the table now,
So now I offer
you
this,
offer it.
now, it's off the table, now I offer this resolution as previously,
Yeah, a roll call
as
vote. yeah.
previously read and
Yeah,
filed
to take it
with
off the
town
table,
clerk.
yes.
Do a roll call on the table vote?
We're going to roll call the...
We're gonna roll
on
call
tabling
on
now, and then we'll
table.
roll call.
Sorry, roll call the table
Roll
vote.
call, Ann?
You were doing what I said.
Yes.
And Corder.
Yes,
Yes.
Yes. Motion carried to untable the tabled resolution. So at this time, I'm going to ask Councilman Lupinacci to read the resolution that's
sure.
been
It was-
taken off the
It was
table.
previously read and pre-filed, but if you'd like me to read it, that's fine. Resolved that the Town Board of Town of Carmel hereby sets and adjusted salaries for fiscal year 2017. Again, these were in the budget for 2017 for the following employees of the town not covered under the terms of collective bargaining in the amounts of as followed. Police chief, $156,404.72. Town engineer, $100,058.70. Town comptroller, $109,852.80. And confidential secretary to supervisor assistant to the town board, $79,422.72. Be it further resolved that this resolution shall have an effective date retroactive to January 1st, 2017, again, because these were in the budget for 2017. I offer this resolution as read.
Seconded?
Okay. Offered by Councilman Lupinacci, seconded by Councilman Schneider. Roll call vote?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
Yes. Motion carried. Thank you. Okay. So now we're going to go on to the rest of the items for the town board voting meeting. And first item is to accept the town board minutes of September 19th, 2017. I need a motion to accept.
So moved.
So moved by Councilman Schneider to accept the minutes.
second,
Second by Councilman Lupinacci. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, resolution number 1 is authorizing entry into contracts. Councilman Schneider, would you read resolution number 1, please?
Whereas appropriations have been made in the 2017 town budget for entry into various contracts for the provision of various services to the town of Carmel, and whereas said contracts are on file in the office of the town supervisor for the inspection and review of all town board members, now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Carmel hereby authorizes the town supervisor to enter into and execute on behalf of the town contracts with the following contractors for the services indicated in an amount not to exceed that set forth below. Contractor is going to be first column. All services are going to be recreational services. So for Mahopac Sports Association, not to exceed $5,000. Carmel Rams Youth Sports, Inc. Association, not to exceed $2,500. Carmel Sports Association, Inc., not to exceed $2,500. I offer this resolution as read.
second,
Okay, seconded by Councilman Lupinacci. Roll call vote?
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
Yes, motion carried. Okay, next resolution, number 2, is a resolution authorizing scheduling of a public hearing for November 1st, 2017. Councilman Lupinacci, would you read number 2, please?
certainly. Resolved that the Town Board of Town of Carmel hereby authorizes the scheduling of a public hearing to be held on the first day of November 2017 at 7 p.m. or as soon thereafter that evening as possible on a local law amendment, Chapter 137 of the Town Code of the Town of Carmel entitled Taxation. And be it further resolved that the Town Clerk, Ann Spofford, is hereby authorized and instructed to publish and post the necessary notices in the official newspaper of the town and on the town bulletin board regarding the public hearing. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. Roll call vote?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
Yes, motion carried. And just let me explain what this taxation amendment is. This is for the Cold War veterans exemption that our assessor, Glenn Drosy, met with the board at the work session last week and explained that in order for our veterans to receive the Cold War exemption, we have to amend the Chapter 137 of the Town Code, and that's what this public hearing is for. And the amendment is for it to continue to help our veterans with their exemptions. Okay, next resolution number 3 is a resolution authorizing the scheduling of a public hearing for November 1st, 2017. Susie, would you read resolution number 3, please?
Sure. These
resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby authorizes the scheduling of a public hearing to be held on the first day of November 2017 at 7:00 p.m. or as soon thereafter that evening as possible on a local law amending Section 156-76 of the Town Code of the Town of Carmel entitled Wireless Telecommunication Equipment and Devices. And be further resolved, the Town Clerk, Ann Spotford, is hereby authorized and instructed to publish and post the necessary notices in the official newspaper of the town and on the town bulletin board regarding this public hearing. I offer this resolution as read.
Second?
Seconded.
Seconded by Councilman Lupinacci and Councilman Schneider. Roll call vote.
Yes.
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 Yes, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, next resolution, number 4, is a resolution accepting a proposal and authorizing entry into an agreement for General Municipal Law 207C Consulting Services. Councilman Schneider, would you read number 4, please?
Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, upon the recommendation of the Town of Carmel Chief of Police Michael Kazari, hereby authorizes the acceptance of the proposal from 207C Inc. of New Paltz, New York, and the entry into an agreement for General Municipal Law 207C Consulting Services with 207C Inc., a copy of which is attached hereto and made a part hereof, for the term of 1 year, effective September 1st, 2017. Be it further resolved that Town Supervisor Kenneth Schmidt is authorized to sign any necessary documents required to effect the purchase on the terms authorized herein. Be it further resolved that Town Comptroller Mary Ann Maxwell is hereby authorized to make any necessary budget modifications required to fund the purchase authorized hereunder. I offer this resolution as read.
Second?
Okay, seconded by Councilman Lupinacci. Roll call vote.
Yes.
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 Yes, motion carried. Okay, next resolution, number 5, is a resolution authorizing a request for proposals pursuant to the property maintenance law. Councilman Lupinacci, would you read number 5, please?
I offer this resolution as pre-filed with the town clerk and as I read or paraphrase. Resolved that the Town Board of Town of Carmel, in accordance with Chapter 114 of the Town of Carmel Town Code entitled Property Maintenance, hereby authorizes Town of Carmel Director of Codes Enforcement Michael Carnazza to solicit and request proposals for the cleanup and correction of the conditions and/or town code violations existing at the following properties. I will not read the following properties, except one property is on Orchard Road, one is on Colonial Drive, one is on Northview Drive, one is on Meadow Drive. Again, I offer this resolution as pre-filed with the town clerk and paraphrased now.
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. Roll call vote.
Yes.
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 Yes, motion carried. Okay, next resolution, number 6, is a resolution authorizing the improvements to the Red Mills Historic Park. Susie, would you read number 6, please?
So resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, in connection with the proposed Eagle Scout project of Seamus Acton of Boy Scouts of America, hereby authorizes the performance of improvements at Red Mills Historic Park in accordance with the memorandum and plans provided by Director of Recreation and Parks James R. Gilchrist, as detailed in his memorandum to the Town Board dated September 18th, 2017. And be it further resolved that upon presentation of insurance certificates for all vendors and contractors proposed to perform improvements in connection with this authorization in form acceptable to Town Council, the aforesaid work may be commenced. I offer this resolution as read.
Second?
Seconded by Councilman Lupinacci. Roll call vote.
Yes.
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 Yes, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, I'd like to thank Seamus Acton for selecting his project in one of our town parks. This is one of many that have been done by Eagle Scout candidates going forward, and it actually saves the taxpayers quite a bit of money when the Eagle Scouts do the projects. So, at this time, I'd like to thank Seamus and his troop for selecting that project in the Red Mills Historic Park. Okay, next resolution, number 7, is a resolution accepting a proposal and authorizing into an agreement for the installation and maintenance of video surveillance systems for the Mayapack Chamber Park, and I believe it's also the McDonough Park as well. Councilman Schneider, would you read 7, please?
Be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, upon the recommendation of Town of Carmel Director of Recreation and Parks James R. Gilchrist, hereby authorizes the acceptance of the proposal from Commercial Instruments and Alarm Systems, Inc. of Fishkill, New York, and the entry into an agreement for the installation of video surveillance systems at Mahopac Chamber Park in accordance with the proposals dated June 30th, 2017. Be it further resolved that the authorized cost of each system shall be $11,306 for the installation of the surveillance system at Mahopac Chamber Park, and be it further resolved that the cost of maintenance option number 1 under said proposals as an annual expense is hereby authorized as well. And be it further resolved that Town Supervisor Kenneth Schmidt is authorized to sign all necessary documents required to effect the purchase on the terms authorized herein. And be it further resolved that Town Comptroller Mary Ann Maxwell is hereby authorized to make any necessary budget modifications required to fund the purchase authorized hereunder. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Lupinacci. Roll call vote?
Yes.
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 Yes. Motion carried. You want to mention?
Yeah, if we could just, if you can confirm, option 1 under that contract was 10% of the cost, so 1,100.
That was option 1. That
Okay,
was
so
the actual
that will be $1,103.
Part service labor option.
Okay.
As opposed to option 2, which was just annual inspections.
And it was $400, but for the 1,100, we get all parts, all service, everything that we needed with it.
Yes.
Okay.
That is just an inspection-based, a time-based service on option 2. I thought that option 1 was what the board wanted.
Yeah, very good, thank you. I just wanted to make sure that I had those numbers right and options right. Thanks.
Do you-
Okay,
Do you
thanks,
know
Jim.
if they got back to us with the 2%?
2%.
I mean, the
2 years.
2-year? Okay,
But you're buying option 1.
okay.
Because that covers
Yeah,
it.
so it doesn't, yeah, it kind of covers it. Okay.
Okay. All right. Next resolution, number 8, is a resolution accepting a proposal and authorizing entry into an agreement for the installation and maintenance of video surveillance system for Jimmy McDonough Park. Councilman Lupinacci, would you read 8, please?
Resolved that the Town Board of Town of Carmel, upon the recommendation of Town of Carmel Director of Recreation and Parks, James R. Gilchrist, hereby authorizes the acceptance of the proposal from Commercial Instruments and Alarm Systems, Inc., Fishkill, New York, and the entry into an agreement for the installation of video surveillance system at Jimmy McDonough Park in accordance with the proposal dated June 30th, 2017, and be it further resolved that the authorized costs for said system shall be $14,479, and be it further resolved that the cost of maintenance option 1 under said proposal for the annual expense is hereby authorized as well. Again, that is 10% of the contract. Be it further resolved that Town Supervisor Kenneth Schmidt is authorized to sign all necessary documents required to effect the purchase on the terms authorized herein, and be it further resolved that Town Comptroller Mary Ann Maxwell is hereby authorized to make any necessary budget modifications required to fund the purchase authorized hereunder. I offer this resolution as read.
Seconded.
Second.
Didn't take your picture, will you? Seconded by, who seconded that, Susie? Ca-
Well, Jonathan.
Yeah, oh, yeah, both.
He was louder.
Both Susie and
Everybody got
Jonathan. Roll call vote?
Yes.
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 Yes, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, next resolution, number 9, is a resolution accepting a proposal for engineering services for Carmel Water District Number 2. Susie, would you read number 9?
To resolve that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, acting as Commissioners of Carmel Water District Number 2, hereby accepts the proposal of J. Robert Fulchetti Associates, LLC of Brewster, New York, for the performance and provision of a distribution system facility plan for Carmel Water District Number 2 in accordance with the proposal of September 14th, 2017, as amended September 26th, 2017, and at a cost not to exceed $43,000. And be it further resolved, the Town Supervisor, Kenneth Schmidt, is hereby authorized to sign any and all documentation necessary to accept the proposal and authorize the actions contained herein. And be it further resolved, the Town Comptroller, Mary Ann Maxwell, is hereby authorized to make any and all necessary budget transfers or modifications required to fund the cost of this authorization. I offer this resolution as read.
Seconded.
Seconded by Councilman Schneider. Roll call vote?
Yes.
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 Yes, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, next resolution, number 10, is a resolution accepting a proposal for engineering services for Carmel Water District Number 9. Councilman Schneider, would you read number 10, please?
Be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, acting as Commissioners of Carmel Water District Number 9, hereby accepts the proposals of J. Robert Fulchetti Associates, LLC of Brewster, New York, for the services required in connection with the construction and performance of Carmel Water District Number 9 distribution system upgrades, including survey design, permitting, bid assistance, and construction administration services in accordance with the proposal of August 28, 2017, at a cost not to exceed $160,500, and be it further resolved that the Town Supervisor, Kenneth Schmidt, is hereby authorized to sign any and all documents necessary to accept the proposal and authorize the actions contained herein. Be it further resolved that Town Comptroller Mary Ann Maxwell is hereby authorized to make any and all necessary budget transfers or modifications required to fund the cost of this authorization. I offer this resolution as read.
You put in every one.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Lupinacci. Roll call vote?
Yes.
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 Yes. Motion carried. Thank you. Okay, next resolution, number 11, is a resolution authorizing emergency repairs in Carmel Water District Number 8. Councilman Lupinacci, would you read 11, please?
Resolved that the Town Board of Town of Carmel, acting as commissioners of Carmel Water District Number 8, and upon the recommendation of Town Engineer Richard J. Franzetti, P.E., hereby authorizes payment for emergency repairs performed by Legacy Valve LLC on or about September 20th, 2017, at the cost of $21,000 and in accordance with the invoice dated September 20th, 2017, and be it further resolved, the Town Supervisor Kenneth Schmidt is hereby authorized to sign any and all documentation necessary to authorize the actions contained herein, and be it further resolved that Town Comptroller Mary Ann Maxwell is hereby authorized to make any and all necessary budget transfers or modifications required to fund the cost of this authorization. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Councilman Schneider and Councilwoman McDonough. Roll call vote?
Yes.
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 Yes. Motion carried. Okay, next resolution, number 12, is a resolution, it's an extension and a renewal of a contract for maintenance for the Lake Cassie Park District. Councilwoman McDonough, would you read number 12, please?
Sure, whereas the Town Board of the Town of Carmel has previously authorized and awarded the contract for Lake Cassie maintenance to Mr. Terrence Kelly for years 2016 and 2017. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, acting as commissioners of the Lake Cassie Park District, and upon the recommendation of Town Engineer Richard J. Franzetti, P.E., hereby authorizes the extension of the aforesaid contract services with Terrence Kelly for fiscal years 2018 at a cost not to exceed $13,000. And be further resolved, the Town Supervisor Kenneth Schmidt is hereby authorized to execute any extension or amendment, and as well as any necessary documentation required connection therewith. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Lupinacci. Roll call vote?
Yes.
Yes.
Why don't you go back and read it with
Yes.
the extra paragraph?
Yes. Motion carried. And the cost for Mr. Kelly is paid for by the residents that reside in the Lake Cassie Park District. It's not a town-wide expenditure. It's the district costs just for Lake Cassie residents. Okay, next resolution, number 13, is a resolution for an extension of renewal of a contract for video recording of the town board, Carmel Town Board meetings. Councilman Schneider, would you read 13, please?
Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Carmel has previously authorized the awarded contract for video recording of the Town of Carmel Town Board meetings, including Town Board, Planning Board, Zoning Board of Appeals, Environmental Conservation Board meetings to Aleska Video Productions of New York, Mahopac, New York, for years 2016 and 2017. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, upon the recommendation of Town Engineer Richard J. Franzetti, P.E., hereby authorizes the extension of the aforesaid contract services with Aleska Video Productions for the fiscal year 2018 at a cost not to exceed $16,250, and be it further resolved that Town Supervisor Kenneth Schmidt is hereby authorized to execute any extension or amendment as well as any necessary documentation required for the connection therewith. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Councilwoman McDonough and Councilman Lupinacci. Roll call vote?
Yes.
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 Yes, motion carried. Okay, the 14th and final resolution this evening is a resolution authorization of budget modifications, number 2017/05. Councilman Lupinacci, would you read 14, please?
Whereas Town Comptroller Mary Ann Maxwell has reviewed the 2017 year-to-date budget modification revisions for the period of July 1st, 2017 through August 31st, 2017 with the Town Board, which are detailed and explained on the attached budget revision schedule identified as number 2017/05. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of Town of Carmel hereby authorizes and ratifies the 2017 year-to-date budget modification and revisions for the period of July 1st, 2017 through August 31st, 2017 as itemized on schedule number 2007/05 which is attached hereto, incorporated herein, and made a part hereof. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. Roll call vote.
Yes.
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 Yes, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, that completes the agenda items for this evening's Town Board voting meeting. This time, is there any members of the public that would like to come up and speak or comment on the agenda items that we covered tonight? Mike, come on up.
A couple of things. Between that presentation from Ms. Maxwell and, number one, we got in there a raise for 4 town employees. Can you tell me why that wasn't on anything, any papers or any backup minutes or anything on the agenda items that would the public would know about?
The table item, I'm trying to remember when it was first done. It was
John,
in-
I can't hear you with that.
Sorry, apologies. I'm going to say this was first brought out, I'm going to say June. I could be a month off, May or June.
June.
June. And it was read into order. It was tabled because we were going to do a little bit more due diligence and looking at other towns. Since that time, Supervisor Smith and Mary Ann Maxwell have consolidated a report that shows various towns around the area.
My question's not the
Okay.
raises. My question is, why it wasn't on the agenda and why it wasn't in the backup information?
Because it was a tabled item. I don't know. All it was is, it was in my package.
So if you table an item, you can put it back with nobody knowing when you put it back on the agenda?
It's on the agenda for...
So then why wasn't it listed as a tabled item with the category next to it?
I couldn't answer that for you.
6/8 was when it
It's
was.
that,
interesting,
Greg?
isn't it?
Greg?
Sorry?
What was that? I'm sorry.
It was on the agenda for 6/8. That resolution and whatever backup was on the June 8 agenda. Or the first. It was one of the, I'm guessing it was probably the first, because that would be the regular meeting if we had it.
What you're asking is if it was part of our package, why isn't it on the agenda? I think
Why isn't it part of the website that people look at to see it?
If we're going to untable it, we know that we're going to untable it, should be on that agenda.
Well, I would think so.
Yeah.
And regarding that, which I brought up in June, I personally think some of those raises are not sufficient. I also think possibly one of those employees shouldn't work for the town that got a raise. So I want to make that public right here, right now. And I think it was disgraceful how that slipped through tonight, and everybody should be ashamed of themselves. Now, down to number 10. Oh, also, what were the percentages of those raises? I'm not going to take names, I'm not going to ask departments, but what were the percentages? Because aren't you right now negotiating with CSEA on
Yes, the
contract?
negotiations will be starting very shortly. on
Okay,
a-
do we know what the percentage raises were on those raises?
I'd have to calculate it, I believe.
Never mind.
It's about
Okay, let's go down to number
5,000
10.
to each person.
Let's go down to number 10, because this is another one that's bounced around and was approved tonight. On behalf of a taxpayer in Water District Number 9, I'm standing in front of you and demanding you to produce, when this is done, documentation of $35,000 of fees paid to departments and bodies of government that was stated on the papers, which I don't have here. I think that's a reasonable request. If you say there's $35,000 in fees, I'd like to see the proof of those $35,000 in fees.
Or can I caveat?
For a really great presentation, you really soured that meeting by slipping that in.
Permitting costs, it's not a fee.
Okay, is there any other members of the public that would like to come up? Yes, ma'am. You want to come up? Yeah, right now, it's just the agenda items, then we're going to go into new business. Okay, is there anyone here for the agenda items only? Anybody else? No, okay, we're going to go on to, We're going to go on to new business now. It's the open forum portion, since there's nobody else here, yeah. Yeah, I know, very unfortunate. We wish more people would attend the meetings.
So I'm Jean Hopper from Mayapack, been here 26 years. Good evening. I'm sorry that Mr. Lombardi isn't here. I wanted to wish him the best and thank him for his service to the town for those years. Okay, just some old business. Is this really loud?
Yeah.
An update on the fire department, Mayapack Volunteer Fire Department, where are we at, or what do we know, or what are we doing?
In regards to what?
In regards to the 5-point-some-odd million that was embezzled?
Yeah,
budget.
that's why I was going to mention the budget, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, where are we at with that?
Yeah, I mean, do we know anything more?
well,
Are there
the,
compensations to the taxpayers? What are we pursuing here? Is it just off the table or out of the papers?
Well, the person that was charged in the theft of the funds was convicted,
Right.
and he was sentenced. I believe he's due to enter federal prison on the matter within the next 30 days.
Okay, are we recouping any money from him?
There was $1 million. There was $1 million that was recovered by the fire department, or not really recovered. There's an insurance payment that was made.
I thought that was like 2 million.
It was $1 million.
It was only one.
$1 million.
Oh, okay.
But that's an insurance policy.
That was an insurance policy that paid that $1 million to the fire department.
Okay.
And they have received that.
What about the taxpayers? What about our town? Are we recouping anything from
No.
sale of anything?
No. We, the town board and the town residents, taxpayers, will not be receiving any monies directly back from any monies that are recovered or that insurance payment for the $1 million.
Right,
That
they
was-
get to keep it, right.
They get to keep
And
it.
does that affect our budget as far as the fire department's budget when we pass for them? Does that,
Actually, from that point
Impact
forward,
that
we
at all?
reduced their budget by $500,000. They've stayed within that budget that we had approved for 2 years.
2 years?
Yeah, that was 2 years in a
2
row
years
that
in
we
a
did
row,
that.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was
yeah,
2 years.
okay.
Looks like in your presentation,
Yeah,
Yeah, that wasn't listed here, the
Yeah,
fire. Is that
they're-
under safety?
Special districts, but it's not going to be itemized on that package that you have.
It's not in this?
Now that this is made to the public, you could review this, you know,
It will be on the website tomorrow.
it'll be on the website tomorrow, but we know what it's, I'm losing the, I know it's 16%, but I forget the actual incremental dollar
It's a lot
amount.
of pages.
200?
200?
It was 200, yeah.
So the fire department, Mahopac,
They requested a $200,000
Yeah.
increase.
they requested $200,000 additional to what we gave them last year.
And what did we give them last year, 7?
1.2 million
1.2,
previously,
now
they
they're asking for
requested
1.4.
1.2 was, and then it went down to what?
No, it was at 1.7 previous to that.
Okay,
We
that's
dropped it to
right.
1.2.
And
Stayed there
now
for
they're
2
asking
years.
for 1.4.
Now they requested up to 1.4. After discussions with them, I believe 160,000 of that is going to be for vehicle payments, and that's something that they'll be at a work session for very shortly.
On the 11th.
And as well, they were looking to get new harnesses for their interior firefighters, which is a new NFPA standard. So they were going to outfit 25 of those, and they were also going to be replacing SCBA bottles that they got on a grant in a bulk previous to that, and now they want to start doing systematic replacement of assets. So they've really come up with a really good asset replacement schedule. There's been good communication between the boards and
Between who?
between the board members and the representatives from the fire department in regards to their request, in regards to their budget. We've also had a lot of oversight from Pinsky Law Firm that specializes with fire districts and fire financing. And they've been looking at all the numbers on a monthly basis, giving
That's
us
a new
reports.
development, right? Because that's only as of the
That's
last.
been over for a year as well. That's a year and a half maybe
But I
we've been
mean,
working with them.
since this occurred.
Yes, yeah.
since it occurred.
There's been a lot of changes that have been put into place on our end and as well on the fire department's end that have really been to curtail anything that may have
And are those
gone
published
through.
anywhere? Is there any way the public can get a handle or information on those changes that have been implemented?
That'll be next week, right?
Next week.
Next week at
Yep.
our work session.
I know we invited to that work session?
Yeah, it's
It's a public
Wednesday.
work, so the fire department representatives are going to be here at that work session,
Discussing just that.
discussing their budget request for 2018.
And when is that budget vote, usually?
Was that
the
November 8th?
fire department
Are
budget
we
vote.
doing that?
Yeah,
It's part of the whole town budget, so it'll be
public
November
hearing
8th.
is November 8th.
So it's November 8th,
Yeah.
November 8th is the public hearing
right?
on
Protective Services.
When is the Mayapack Volunteer Fire Department budget hearing?
I'm sorry, what was that question?
When is the
The
Mayapack
public
Volunteer
hearings
Fire
on
Department
the fire
budget
and ambulance
hearing?
contract.
That is going to be November
same night.
8th.
That's here.
Yes.
It's part of this budget, so when we have the public hearing on November 8th for the town budget, you're
Right.
also going to have the public hearing on that budget. But as the council is also saying, that that's when also we review and have a public hearing on all of the contracts.
Right.
Because how it gets into this budget is they ask for a contractual amount.
So that's when we're voting on that budget. You're voting on that budget for the fire
It's a public
department.
hearing, and then within the next week, we would have to vote on the overall budget.
Is that when it
which is
usually
fine.
was? I thought it was always in February or something,
No,
no?
we've moved that.
This is right.
Over the last couple of years,
The,
we've moved that.
It used to be, and
Last year
there
was
was
the
a lot
first
of
year.
criticism in
Right.
regards to,
was-
you already have a
it was the
contract, why are you
So
doing
I'm
this?
sure the local publications will be definitely a week or two giving the public an advance notice that that hearing, of the budget hearing for the Mayapack Volunteer Fire Department will be held on that day. I think the taxpayers
Yeah,
would
next week
want to
is-
know that.
Next week, they're just coming informally at where you're standing, and they're going to, make a public request.
Okay.
And then on November 8th is the overall public hearing for
Right.
that. So people will be able to
For the whole
speak
budget.
next week
That's the hearing on the 8th,
and also on the 8th.
right? And the vote is on the 8th, is what you're telling
The
me.
vote would be the
No, the
following
vote's
week
on
after
the-
that.
Week
It's
after, the
typically
vote
the
is the
last
following
meeting
week.
before the 20th.
The
This-
15th.
This
I
week,
think I
this
had
year's
it
the
written down.
15th.
I don't know what I wrote down.
We've
The
done it
8th, I have
other
public hearing
days.
for budget, but I want to know when the actual vote is.
The vote on to adopt the budget is
Right.
the 15th, November 15th.
Thank you. Okay, I want to make sure I got that
Board
right.
will be
date.
voting to adopt the 2018 budget.
Okay, then just a few other things real fast. We have all those, on Route 6, our abandoned construction sites. The one that I'm thinking of is across from what used to be D'Agostino's Nursery, where we carved out a hill, and we walked away from it, now it's for sale again. There's other ones, there's next to Arturo's, the gas station by 301, where we have cinder blocks and weeds. So what actually happened with that job site across from D'Agostino's? That he was allowed to start this construction,
He had
demolish the hill, and now is selling it?
He had gotten site plan approval from the planning board for a
Right.
project that he identified that he was going to be doing on that site.
Right.
And he started excavating and clearing and blasting rock and removing a
Right.
lot of rock from that site.
And selling that rock.
We
right?
all felt that, he was clearing the land, clearing the lot, with intent of building a building, putting a commercial building on that site.
Right.
Well, he never did.
Right.
You're right, he did sell a lot of the rock, it's my understanding, off that site.
So there were no bonds on our part to ensure that this construction's
you know
going
what
to
site
Yeah,
that is?
yeah,
be
the
finished?
performance bond, site plan bond, for sure. I don't think this town board ever called that bond. I'd have to check with the planning board attorney about what the status is of the project. That earthwork that was done was part of the site plan that was approved to install, or to construct, I should say, the commercial building that was proposed. And it's the owner's property. If he wanted to sell the rock, he's entitled to sell the rock. They didn't blast anything. I think they hammered, if my recollection was, I don't think, it was- yeah.
They did hammer,
It was
yeah, I
a
know
big
from the
amphitheater
building next
effect.
door.
Was,
Oh, yeah, right.
but in any event, we can make a determination. I don't think the town board ever called this bond. I don't think there was a reason to, but I don't want to say for certain, because it was 3 or 4 years ago. But it can be checked.
Just extremely unsightly.
Yeah.
Happens
Oh, we
time
agree, yeah.
and time again. And I don't understand why all those sites are just left like that. My father was in construction. He had to put bond money up left and right. And I don't,
This one up the street here that you had mentioned, the one up by Arturo's?
Right.
Same thing there.
Right.
The developer or
there's
the
several.
builder.
There's the shopping center and the one
Yeah.
by Arturo's. There's one after the other. It seems like every half mile down Route 6, we're just letting them
Yeah.
do whatever they want. I don't understand why that's not more in control.
That gentleman received site plan approval for the building. There's a building that's on the site there.
Right.
He went through the process, got the approvals, and then he decided he was going to sell the property with the approvals. And that's been on the market now for, gosh, it's got to be 4 years, at least 4 years or longer.
6, 7 years easily.
Coming fall 2012.
It was supposed to be fall 2012, I
It's
think. if I
got to
remember
be
right.
over
2012.
5 years. It's gotta be
It did say that
6.
until like last year, right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know, okay.
I don't
You
know
know,
what it says. Does it still say
it's
fall
been
of
years.
2000?
No, that
Years and
changed the
years and
graffitis
years.
down, but-
So
Five,
this is
six,
not
7
something new, and this is not something that's pending.
Right.
This is the stuff that's been happening. That property across from D'Agostino's has been like that for, what, 10 years?
Now, I
This-
think that
well,
is it
long
every 2
time.
years they have to put in an application
Yeah.
for extensions? Every 1 year, but that's the thing, is as long as they keep up.
Reapproval. The approval's good for 1 year with the possibility of a 1-year extension. And they can do that at the end of the first year. They can get an extension. Then the next application technically is called a regrant. And if the project hasn't changed, it's not demonstrably different, although there's different fee and review process for a regrant as opposed to an extension.
I just think it's something we should keep an eye on
Yeah.
and, be a little more proactive on that. And also, I know this, I don't know if you can comment on this at all. Our VFW on Bucks Hollow, as we know, they've had porta-sands for the last almost 3 years.
American Legion.
Right?
American Legion, what'd I say?
VFW.
Yeah, American Legion, right. Any way we can smooth this out for them, help
We-
them
I-
out?
I-
They are, right?
Yeah, I've been trying, we've been trying, a lot of us have been trying to bring both parties together.
Right.
To come up with an agreement to allow their lateral, their sewer lateral.
Right.
Runs through a private parking lot, privately owned parking lot. And the American Legion actually began an action in Supreme Court
Okay,
to attempt to resolve this matter. It's been about 3 years now that our veterans have had to use porta-sands, porta potties, and that's a shame.
Right.
That's
I know
sad.
it's directly affected their hall rentals drastically for what they used to have previous
Yeah.
to it. It really is a shame. It's
Yeah, but I will
it's difficult to
say-
see.
Yeah.
But it seems like things are progressing.
Things had been progressing along, and they seem to stall again. And I actually called the property owner, the owner of the commercial property
Right.
on Route 6, where the lateral runs through. I had a conversation with him on Monday about this. When is this going to be resolved? And he had to go back to his attorney, because both sides have attorneys.
Right.
And he had to go back and speak to his attorney to get an update from the attorney as to
Right.
where they are now. Because there is an action in Supreme Court, I can't speak too much about.
Right. No, I understand that.
What the particulars are, what they're dealing with, but I can tell you, there's an effort on my part, the county executive's part, and now the Senator Murphy,
Right.
State Senator Murphy, has been called to try to attempt to resolve this matter as well. So we are trying, we're
the
attempting.
VFW is paying sewer and water tax. Am I not right?
Yeah.
I believe they are.
No, they're out of district. Yeah.
Not in the district.
Sewer and water, and they don't have sewer and water.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I
and
don't believe they're in the
So-
district. I think part of the issue is
They're not-
the main does not extend to them. They're not within the district. Okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
They're not within the district. That's 7?
Yeah,
That's sewer 7?
7, yeah.
Okay, they're not within the district, so they don't have access to
I'm
the
sorry,
sewer.
sewer
Yeah,
one.
I just,
One, right?
you know,
One,
again,
okay,
right, it's fine.
Sewer 1.
we
Yeah, sewer,
give a
but
lot
they have a
of,
lateral, there is a sewer lateral that runs from the American Legion to the sewer main
Right.
on Route 6. That lateral has failed. It's collapsed.
Right.
It's clogged.
Needs to be replaced.
It needs to be replaced.
Absolutely.
That's the issue, and there's been some resistance on the part of a property owner,
I understand that.
all right?
Yeah.
So I'm working, trying to resolve it. I'm doing everything I can.
I think we
and
have
trying
to
not to
be-
get in between a private property owner and
I
the
get
American
that.
Legion.
I
So
understand
there's
that.
so much I can do.
Right.
But attempts are being made to resolve it.
Okay. And, again, I don't know how public knowledge, I know it's a private matter, like you said, between two tax-paying citizens, but
Mm-hmm.
if there's anything we can do, I'd love to see them have bathrooms before the winter sets in.
Oh,
right?
yeah, no, we all
I don't
would
think
love
any
to.
of us would want to use porta-sands in the
I
winter.
think we would all like to see that,
Yeah.
but unfortunately, it's two people suing each other in
I understand
litigation
that. I understand that, but, I mean, they have the right to a sewer line that they're paying taxes on, or for.
I don't think
Sewer
they're
and
paying
water
taxes.
taxes.
We'll have to
Sewer and
double-check.
water taxes, I believe they are, yeah.
Yeah, we'll
All
have
right,
to jump
that's
on.
it.
Yeah.
I just had to say something because there's nobody ever here.
Well,
I
I'm
know.
actually
It-
reaching out to, just so you know, I'm reaching out to two gentlemen from the American Legion tomorrow to get their take on their side, on where maybe they can explain where it's at. So I need an update, to try to intervene and help out. I also want to just go back to the Mahopac Fire Department matter for a minute. I know the federal agents have seized assets that were held by Mr. Klein. So there's properties, there's equipment, there's other items that have value to them that have been seized
Right.
that are part of the ill-gotten gains, the money that was extorted from the fire department that he purchased with that. So what happens then is that's sold. That property is eventually sold, and it's my understanding there's a home in Florida that he may have purchased with.
No, I've read all that, I understand that,
But
yeah.
once they sell those seized assets, then there's some additional funds that will be recovered by the fire department. Correct, Greg? Restitution was part of the plea.
Okay, good. Good to hear it.
All right?
Thank you.
And thank you for coming.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Appreciate it. I know your husband's been here a couple of times.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
may as well come, yeah. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. No, come more often, really. Is there anyone else here for new business, open forum portion of the meeting? Mike, did you have anything tonight? Open forum? No. Okay. I don't think you heard me. All right, so we do have some announcements that we need to make. They'll be pretty quick. Well, the first announcement is Carmel Town Hall will be closed this coming Monday, October 9th, in observance of Columbus Day. So we're closed Monday, October 9th. We'll be reopening the offices on Tuesday, October 10th at 8:30 a.m. Saturday, October 7th, 2017, the Putnam County Household Hazardous Waste Collection Day will take place. The location is the Donald B. Smith Government Campus, 110 Old Route 6 in Carmel. The event time is 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. So if you have any hazardous waste or hazardous items that are in your home that you'd like to dispose of, that will be on October 7th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the Donald B. Smith Government Campus up in the hamlet of Carmel. It's Core of Force MMA workout, Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., October 7th through October 28th. This is the Town of Carmel Parks and Recreation Department is sponsoring this. Yeah, it's Core de Force Live. Adult, I'm not really sure what that is, but it's adult fitness classes, 18 and up. Carmel Rec Building on Sycamore Park. It's the main building. It's $40 for residents, $75, excuse me, for non-residents. If you want results, you've got to fight for them. Leave whatever is holding you back outside the class. Learn proper technique. Go to your own speed, cardio and strength conditioning. There's online registration for the class. For more information, please visit the website at Facebook at Carmel Rec or Carmel Recreation, or give us a call at the rec office, 628-7888.
If I could just interrupt.
Yeah, you want to?
No, I just wanted to thank the rec department. They're doing a great job. I know that they have started to institute the kayaking classes, and I received a few different emails from veteran organizations where it's going to be free for a lot of veterans. And I just thought that it's great to start getting things like that involved in our town and getting out on the lake and getting some physical activity and looking after our veterans.
Yeah, just to piggyback on that, Jonathan, the Vet-to-Vet program, the Dwyer.
Yeah,
The
PFC Dwyer program.
PFC Dwyer program. We were contacted, and Recreation was contacted by John Borges
Yes.
about this, so I think the vets are going to...
They are, yeah, it's already out there. I think they're getting filled up pretty quickly, and yeah, if you have your own kayak as a veteran, I was told that you could actually bring it out there as well. So if it's something that you're interested in, the spots are limited, but if you do have a kayak, you're able to bring that out there.
Okay, great, yeah. It's just another benefit in how we can help our veterans. That's great. Okay, so that completes the voting meeting for this evening. We do have executive session that we need to go into. We're going to be closing the meeting from executive session. This is with Town Legal Counsel Greg Falchetti. It's a litigation update. So I need a motion to go into executive session.
So moved. Seconded.
So moved by Councilman Livanacci, seconded by Councilman Schneider. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. We'll see everybody next week. That's October 11th for a town board work session. Good night. Be well.